Hello dear all lovely students, welcome all to our today's session once again. Hope you are getting well and fine. So now we will go through another important SQ types of question from the chapter 6. So now we will go through there. Number 1, what is passive absorption? Passive and active. Active absorption. It is important question that what is passive and active absorption. Then what is ascent of sap? What is ascent of sap? Number 3, if we try to understand about this one, that is what is lenticel? Lenticel. Then we will try to understand that number of leaves can transpire more. Number of leaves can transpire more water. Is it or not actually the question? Then what is the color of plasma? What is the color of plasma? Then we will go through why transpiration. Next question was there. Why transpiration? Why transpiration is called necessary evil? And number 7, then we can write here what amount of blood corpuscle and plasma and plasma present in blood. So today we are getting here for connecting very important some topics, that is what is passive and active transpiration absorption is very first question. This one many of you joining, I have seen this one. Arnob, Nahian, Shfakul, Fehima Jannat, many of you not getting the marks of physical education. I told you to talk with Fehima also, talk with the Lucky Madam of given phone number of there. Okay, by the way, so what is the passive, and everyone, Walaikum Assalam and welcome here. What is the passive and active absorption? So if it is the passive absorption and if it is the active absorption, so what is there? Actually there is metabolic energy. Metabolic energy is main part. Metabolic energy required and metabolic energy not required. So in case of the passive absorption, what we want to say about that, metabolic energy not required, the passive absorption and metabolic energy. So sir, what is the metabolic energy actually? I know and you know that root hair can absorb the water on there. Okay, metabolic energy is actually sometimes when we take the food and getting the energy. In case of the any living things, what happened there, metabolism is starting, because if there is no metabolic activities, so it cannot be passing on or hold on or storing the other or any kinds of energy in them. That means main important parts of here is the metabolic energy can ensuring of having having that energy to conduct to a specific parts. So if it is not present on them, so metabolic energy, if it is not required, that times the root here, okay, can absorb that energy, absorb that minerals or water and getting the energy, and there is no metabolic energy is required. And if it is the metabolic energy must be required for metabolism, for doing the physiological activities, okay, through the root here, when absorb the plant the specific minerals and water and getting the metabolic energy must be there. That times that absorption is known as the active absorption. So we hope you understand this point. And not only that part is actually mentioning in active absorption, since the metabolic energy is needed. So ion, metallic ion, metallic ion, manganese ion, magnesium ion, calcium ion. So manganese, these ion types of metals or minerals can getting through the root here where the metabolic energy is needed. Osmosis and diffusion process can also be where there is no metabolic energy is required, that is the passive absorption. So I think the general concept, the very first time if it is asking for where there is no metabolic energy is required, that is the passive absorption, metabolic energy is required, especially when absorbed by the root here, the ions or minerals, that is the active absorption. I hope so you get this one, and importantly you know this one. What is the ascent of sap? I told you that we know that ascent of sap, cell sap, we know about that every cell have that liquids and fluids like substance in them. So that is the cell sap, and that is the ascent of the cell. Actually, when the cell sap absorbed and slowly go upward through conducting tissue like xylem, and then after when it is go to the flower plant green parts like leaves, from there phloem can active there. That means slowly the cell sap go upwards is the ascent of sap. So sometimes it terms cannot make a student sure that what is the ascent of sap. Cell sap, of course the cell contain the liquid substance in them, that is the cell sap. And ascent of sap actually when that cell sap with the conducting tissues go upward slowly, that times that sap, cellular sap is called ascent of sap. So I think there will be no confusion about this question also. What is lenticel? We know that there are three kinds of transpiration. One is the cuticular transpiration, stomatal transpiration, and last one is the lenticular transpiration. So lenticel is actually going on through a stem like that. Suppose it is a stem is going on there, and you know there is some hollow or vessel in between them, and the outer part after the bark there is the some cell that is called the lenticel. And this lenticel is also we understood many of them in class 9 also. So lenticel actually through this part there is some pore and hole like structure in between them through the bark. In the stem present that cell is called the lenticel. Okay, so this is also when plant absorb many of the water, leaves always transpire the many of the maximum number of waters, but sometimes stomata and lenticel can also take part in the transpiration. So this is the lenticel, they take part for excess water out from the body of the plant. Number of leaves can transpire more water, of course, this is yes. Number of more cell, what if the number of leaves is present, maximum number of leaves, what the maximum number of leaves if it is present on the time, the transpiration will be more. Some of you think about that maybe leaves is the main part for production of the food through the photosynthesis process, but actually not only, all kinds of physiological activities are done by the leaves. Leaves is very important parts for the plants. Yes, Rapsan, Aryan, Dihan, you are in Bangladesh. Okay, so this is the important things for knowing the number of leaves transpire more water. What is the color of the plasma? Many of you do mistake there. Okay, they write, many of the students I have seen there, blood color is red, so plasma is red. No, slightly yellowish. Don't missing this one. Slightly yellowish. Slightly yellowish. Why it is known? Why it is thinking about that? The slightly yellowish. You know, my dear students, slightly yellowish, the color of the plasma. If we think about that, the red, it is wrong, because the blood corpuscles or blood cell having the RBC, red blood cell contain the hemoglobin, and the color of hemoglobin is red, so blood color is red. Blood corpuscle and plasma are the two main parts, and I can go through the number 7 very first. That is, what amount of blood corpuscle and plasma is there. Blood corpuscle is present in the 45% and plasma present in 55%. Unbelievable. That is, the color is the slightly yellowish, and 45% in between them RBC, WBC and platelets. So RBC contain the hemoglobin, so they mix together in a blood, so the blood color is red. So don't make it any mistake for knowing that one, that the plasma color is slightly yellowish. Okay, now the last question of today, that is, why transpiration is called necessary evil. We know the many of the points, I write the 3 points. Transpiration more, hamper physiological activities, hamper physiological activities, and then excess water make the plant dry. Excess water out make the plant dry. So I write the 3 important topics, 3 important points on that one. First one, what we have seen, the transpiration more. That times we have seen there is no rainy time, not enough, not maximum water, but very sunny day, lots of water going to transpire more. So it is not good for the plant growth, and having the physiological activities, hamper the physiological activities because of this one. And excess water out make the plant dry. If the plant get dry, so we cannot get output from the plant. If it is a flower plant, cannot get the flower. If it is the timber plant, not getting the timber properly. If it is the fruits, having fruits bearer, so we cannot get the fruits. So all of the result will be negative. So transpiration more, hamper physical activities, excess water out, make the plant dry. These are the actually reason. If it is ongoing on, we know that the heavy rainfall excess amount of water, that is not needed. You need 1 dish of rice, but if it is the 10 dishes of rice, it is no need for you. Okay, so just excess amount of water release, that is very good for a plant, because transpiration can make sure the proper physiological activities. But when excess water out, there is no need to transpire, then also the sunlight and other factors can have reason and responsible for that one. That times it will be very tough. So my dear students, these are the question. We can review once again. Passive and active absorption, I told you, metabolic energy not required, and I make you understand what is the metabolic energy. And metabolic energy is required in case of the ion absorption is the active, and no required is the passive. Ascent of Sap, cellular shape and cell shape, cell sap types can go upward slightly with the vascular bundle, vascular tissues. That is the ascent of the sap. Lenticel in the stem, bark after, then some transpiration go through that type of cell is known as the lenticel. Number of leaves, of course, more, transpiration more. What is the color of plasma? Not red, slightly yellowish. And what amount of blood corpuscle and plasma present in the blood? 45% and 55%. And finally, why transpiration is called necessary evil? Transpiration, when more, hamper the physiological activities, and excess amount of water out from the body of the plant can make the plant dry, so we cannot get the better results. So this all about today's topics on chapter 6 SQ. Hope so you also having the note and try to understand the topics today. That's all about today. I hope so you will be connected there and do all the class, which video class is uploaded there. Stay safe, stay sound. Allah Hafiz.